And so staring down a certain horrific drowning death, he pulled out his dive knife and he plunged it into his heart.
Wait, what?
Hello everyone, my name is Gus.
Hi, I'm Woody.
And today we're reacting to a video that is going to become an inside joke of Dive Talk. I've mentioned this in countless videos before, and a lot of people pick it up. A lot of people know what I'm talking about, but some people don't know what I'm talking about when I make the motion of stabbing myself in the heart. People are like, what are you talking about? Why do you do that? Well, today we're going to talk about what it is. It's an urban legend. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about when I do that. You just play along.
I play along, but I know it. I've heard that there was an incident where that happened.
Well, let's let one of our good friends, Mr. John B. Allen, Mr. Ballen, tell the story.
Okay.
There's an island off the coast of Croatia called Šolta. Only 19 kilometers long by 5 kilometers wide, this tiny island is a short ferry ride and an ideal day trip from Split, which is Croatia's second biggest city. It's a hilly island with these beautiful pebble beaches and absolutely crystal clear water. It's a very popular tourist destination that's actually famous for its honey, as well as an underwater cave that kills virtually everyone who goes inside. On September 10th, 2002, 31-year-old Miroslav Kuklis was enjoying a vacation with friends on Šolta Island.
He said it kills everybody that goes inside. Wow.
Do what now?
And I love Mr. Ballen, so man, wow. Yeah, that's a strong statement from him. So,
It was a little after 8:30 in the evening when one of his friends suggested they go scuba diving. Because of its beautiful clear waters, Šolta Island is a very popular scuba diving destination.
Let's go.
And so as such, scuba diving takes place really at all hours around Šolta Island, but the vast majority of it takes place in these safe little alcoves where it's not very deep and you can see fish and wildlife and it's very controlled. But Miroslav and his friends didn't want to do regular scuba diving. They wanted to check out the underwater cave they had heard about just south of Šolta Island in Poganica Bay. They had heard this cave was extremely dangerous and only expert divers were allowed to go in there. And even though they were not expert divers, they were barely novice divers, they thought, you know what, how bad can it be? Let's go check it out for ourselves. So they convinced one of the boat drivers to drive them out to the area in Poganica Bay that sat over where this cave entrance was. And so they put on their gear, they hop in his boat, they drive out, they jump in the water, and sure enough, right below the surface, about 10 meters down, is this hole on the sea floor. And that is the single entrance into this cave. When you go in this hole, you have to go down head first because it's so tight. And once you go down about 10 meters, you reach this junction where to one side, it leads to the shallow gallery, which is the space that goes down to 36 meters, and there's no other caves or entrances or anything off of it. It's just kind of like a chasm inside of the cave. From the junction, if you go the other way, it brings you to the deep gallery, which is just a bigger version of the shallow gallery, and it goes down to 57 meters. Inside of the deep gallery, however, at the very top on the ceiling, there is a very thin air pocket. Now, there's a few reasons why this cave is so dangerous beyond just being an underwater cave, which in and of itself is quite dangerous. The first one is the visibility inside of the cave is basically zero. The only light that comes in is through that single entrance that leads to that junction, but the light doesn't make it past the junction into the two galleries. So it is truly pitch black inside of those two galleries. You also have all this silt that's caked to the inside of the cave. So as soon as you get in there, your flippers and your movement, it kicks the silt off the wall and muddies the water around you to where even if you had a flashlight, it's like driving in fog. The lights only pick up the fog right in front of you. You can't see beyond the fog. Well, in a tunnel, you shine your light on silt and you're just going to see the silt, not beyond it. So basically going into this cave, you're going to be blindfolded. Another significant danger of being inside of this cave is after you've gone down to your respective gallery, whether it's the shallow or the deep gallery, when you're going back up again on your ascent and you're getting to that junction point, it is possible to confuse the other entrance to the other gallery with the exit to the cave. And so if you make that mistake and you go into the other gallery, remember, you're blind, you got silt kicked up, it's already dark. You need to, by touch, figure out you've made a mistake and then backtrack and go out the right way you came.
We both probably have the same. Well, you go first, and I want to hear your reaction. Because he said something there about the exit and the only way out is by touch.
Right. So inside of caves, as we've talked about before, and one of the rules of cave diving is that we use a guideline. We use a line for navigation in a cave, and we're not connected to a guideline. I feel like people have made comments about this in our channel before. We're not tethered into it or whatever. People say, how come you guys don't just put a carabiner into it and just connect yourselves to it? Well, because the guideline is connected along the way and there's stuff in it, like, there's arrows that point out to the exit, and there's stuff in the line. It's not just a perfect line all the way inside the cave. But as long as you can see it, there's a guideline that is navigating you through the cave. So when you're exiting the cave, you're either looking at the line or you're okaying the line. You're in contact with the line, basically. So confusing the exit with going into another gallery should never happen if you're a trained cave diver and if you're following the rules of cave diving, because there should be a guideline taking you to the exit. By, following the rules of cave diving, we're supposed to have a guideline to the exit. And most caves have a permanent line in it, and if you don't have a permanent line all the way to the exit, you're supposed to bring one, a primary attachment from the exit all the way to the primary line of the cave, which you then will follow to get all the way back to the exit. So,
or not just to the like you said, if there's no primary line, you have to take your line the whole dive.
That's right. If there's no line in the cave, you're
exploring at that point.
That's right.
You switch to a cave explorer because these aren't known routes. You can never not have a line. So well said. That's all I was going to say.
Yep.
So if you're low on air and you make this mistake, you better hope you catch it fast enough that you can get out before your air runs out. So a little after 9:15 p.m., Miroslav goes in first, followed by his other two friends. Miroslav reaches the junction and he turns towards the deep gallery. He goes all the way down to 57 meters. He touches the bottom. He turns around and he starts making his ascent. On the way up, he gets to the junction and he makes the critical mistake of going into the shallow gallery, believing that is the exit to the cave. He probably got in there, bumped his head, started feeling around. He's kicking up silt. He's starting to panic. He's looking for the way out again. He finds the exit to the junction, but instead of taking the exit out of the cave, he makes the same mistake again and goes into the deep gallery. And now he's in the deep gallery, he's feeling around, he's running low on air, and based on his dive computer, he was fumbling around in there for quite some time. And having spent some time underwater myself in the pitch black as a Navy SEAL, I can tell you that it's very easy to imagine, it'd be so easy to stay calm and have your bearings and know where you are. But when you are completely in total pitch black underwater, it actually is hard to tell what's up, what's down. You can feel the pressure in your ears. That's a good way to tell where you are in the water. But, realistically, it's totally possible to get completely disoriented underwater. And my guess is Miroslav was totally disoriented. And so he stopped and he's trying to make sense of what's happening. And at some point, Miroslav must have looked at his air gauge and realized, I'm out of air now. And he made one last push to try to get to the surface, but he hit a ceiling. And that's when he realized, based on maybe the touch and feel, maybe he took his gloves off and he was feeling around, he felt that he was in the air pocket, that thin amount of air that sat right at the top of the deep gallery. He must have realized at this point that there was so little air down here that he probably only had maybe a few minutes that he could be down here breathing before he was going to drown. And in terms of making his ascent to the surface on a breath hold, the only place where there's an air pocket is the deep gallery. And so probably he knew that. And so he's thinking, I'm, maybe 40, 50 meters under the surface right now, and I can barely catch my breath now. I'm not going to be able to hold my breath to the surface.
Not from that depth.
And so staring down a certain horrific drowning death, he pulled out his dive knife and he plunged it into his heart.
Wait,
and
when what? He did? That's what you've been talking about. This is the one where the guy... Why did he do that? What? Because he didn't want to drown? He didn't want to die by drowning, so instead he just, let me end it quickly? You're not... In cave diving, we're taught you never, ever, ever give up. You keep on till it's over. It's not over. I cannot believe... Wow. I never knew that, everybody. Like, I never knew why Gus, and everybody's been saying this, and this is the moment. This guy freaking killed himself. I can't believe he did that knowing that it wasn't yet over.
I can't believe you think this actually happened.
Well, I'm sure they're going to go on in the video and show when they found him, maybe he had a big hole in his heart or something. Did they find the body?
Who cares? Like, what? This makes no sense. None of this stuff makes sense.
Well, if he had a hole and cut in his heart.
Who cares? Like, I would... Look, you're telling me that somebody just goes to a hole, right? Or whatever, and somehow, in the darkness, right? In the pitch black, he's like, wait, hold on. Let me do some math right here. I have, at best, 3 minutes of air because I'm a cave air hole expert right here. Let me do some math. And I have, at best, 3 minutes of air right here. So, instead of attempting to live, you know, on the side, while I was going to college for my cave air hole expertise, I also did my heart surgeon expertise. Let me get my dive knife, which, by the way, they all suck. All dive knives suck, and they are dull at the tip.
Unless he had that bad boy that he's holding up right there.
Unless he had a TM Hunt 18 like mine. And then turn it around and through the wetsuit, which I assume he had a wetsuit. He was like, all right, hold on, let me get this right here. And deliver a one-shot kill to his heart because he got impatient and figured that none of his buddies would go back and rescue or call somebody to go and rescue. After we've watched countless videos of people that have been trapped in air pockets for days.
Yes.
Days. And gotten rescued.
4 days. As much as 4 days.
We are going to sit here and believe that this guy just got to an air pocket and be like, forget it.
All right. I want to ask just one more time. It's a very easy question. I don't know the answer. Facts.
Okay.
When they found this guy.
He's going to talk about this.
I want to know, and I don't know the answer. Does the guy have a knife in his heart?
He's going to talk about it.
You'll see that it was a hole. There's a hole and a knife punctured inside of his heart.
Let's keep watching.
It's either yes or no.
It's not
watching. Like in between.
Okay, well, let's keep watching.
Autopsy later, it would show he did not drown. He died because he had a knife in his heart. Back on the surface, the other two divers had gotten out successfully, and they're in the boat, and they're waiting for Miroslav. But after over an hour went by and he hadn't surfaced, they contacted the police. The police show up, and they send 2 special divers down into the cave to look for Miroslav.
Okay.
One of those divers was a 25-year-old named Oliver Marich.
What's a special diver? Is that like a...
I don't know. That part doesn't matter, but Mr. Ballen is saying they concluded he did not die from drowning. I can go back and rewind it.
No.
He died of a heart wound.
Oh, my God.
So how can I be here doubting, not knowing any other facts other than this video, based on just this?
Mm-hmm.
If this is fact, whatever it was a very nice story you told and how ridiculous it sounded, but what are you basing it on other than that they're just making this up?
Just common sense. Mainly.
Not common sense. I mean, do you know for a fact that these experts that found him are lying?
What experts?
Lied? I don't know. They said that they concluded he did not die from drowning. Now, these 2 divers that went down there that he's about to continue on, let's continue it. Did they find him with a knife in his heart?
Let's just finish the video, and then we can talk about this nonsense.
And so these 2 divers go down, and they're looking for Miroslav, and they can't find him. And
Police
they're running
divers.
out of air. And on their ascent, Oliver Marich makes the same mistake that Miroslav did and gets trapped inside of the shallow gallery.
Again?
The
No
other
line?
diver initially made that mistake, but managed to get out again. But Oliver went back and forth between the deep and the shallow gallery until
ridiculous.
he too drowned in that cave. It would take 3 days for the police to find and remove Miroslav and Oliver from this cave. And to this day, the police warn divers not to go in this cave unless they're experienced enough to be going in there. But year after year, inexperienced divers try their luck inside of this cave, and they make that same mistake. They get trapped, and they die.
Well, that's okay. I don't understand the ending. I mean, the ending is it's like a cliffhanger, and I don't have a good ending. Did the police divers I'm going to ask it again. I'm sure you're asking the same question. Do we have facts? Can we research it further? Maybe that's what people are going to say. You guys should. Yes or no.
Before we go any
Did he
further.
stab himself or not?
Before we go any further, let me make this warning. Please do not post the same link on the comments 1,000 times. I will put the link on the description to the official whatever news release from the Croatian government, which I don't believe. Call me out all you want.
You don't wait.
No.
Wait.
Of course
now
not.
you've gone further. Hold on.
Doesn't make sense.
You are telling me that there's something more. There's an official report. I
don't care if you're sort of signed this.
Gus is kind of leaking.
This makes no sense.
He's kind of leaking these things out to me now. You're now saying even the official report is bogus because of why? Why would they do that?
Because
What's
it makes
their
no
motivation?
sense.
What is the motivation, though, of them writing an official report to say that he stabbed himself in the heart?
The
Why?
motivation is
Why
they don't
would
know what they're talking about. These people are not divers.
But they looked, when they went down, they have eyeballs. There's a knife in his heart or not.
So what? It doesn't matter.
If there's a knife in his heart, well, how does that not matter?
There's 1,000 ways to explain that. There's 1,000 ways to explain that somebody has a knife in their heart. There's two other divers.
There's either a knife in your
idiot.
Let me give you my two ways of explaining it.
It's way
There's a
easier
knife
to
in my heart. And explanation number 2, there's not a knife in my heart. I mean, if there's a knife in his heart, who put the knife in his heart?
Let's even pretend.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no. Let's even pretend there's not even 2 other guys. Let's pretend there's 1 guy. You and me are in a cabin somewhere, and next day you have a knife in your heart. And let's just say that the police are gonna believe that you stabbed yourself. They're not gonna think that I kill you. No. The more believable thing is that you yourself, in the middle of the night, got desperate because you ran out of pizza, which happens, by the way, because you get desperate if you run out of pizza. And then you decided, out of the blue, it makes a lot of sense that, you know what, instead of ordering another pizza,
because you probably
let
ordered
me stab
it with,
myself in the night, in the heart with a knife.
And the reason is because you probably ordered it with pepperoni and sausage.
Well, yes.
Right.
Obviously.
Instead of like the kind I like, which I would never touch that with just mushrooms and cheese.
It's awful. The point is,
I'm
this guy was diving with 2 other divers.
I don't understand your point.
My first thought, and I'm not saying this is what happened. What I'm saying is, my first thought will be this guy got killed by somebody else. That will be my first reaction.
Why?
Well, but whatever. I don't know. Maybe he had beef with the other guys. Who cares? I'm not saying that that's what happened, but that would be my first reaction, and not like this guy came into an air pocket and stabbed himself in the heart. What are you talking about?
But okay. You're saying, I do believe that he had a knife in his heart, but I don't believe he did it to himself.
Exactly.
Why there would be an investigation.
The guys had a knife in his heart. No.
There would be investigation. They would go into who were the guys that were with him. Did those guys have a deal with him, a business with him, a property with them? Are they drug dealers? Like, is there something more to motivate? Or is it just like, Gus, you stabbed me in the heart because you finally realized and didn't want to be embarrassed that, in fact, octopus are aliens. You don't want to admit it, so you stabbed me in the heart. Is it like that? I mean, I don't understand. I am confused right now. If they found the guy with a knife in his heart,
just think about it.
I don't believe that somebody there has to be more evidence, facts, information for me to jump all the way to the point where somebody murdered him. It could not have been.
But even like that's not even in the top 10.
Occam's razor theory, am I saying that right? The simplest explanation in science, in all life things, is usually the true one.
Okay, well,
the simplest is that they found him with a knife in his heart, and I'm not going to expound on that and add all kinds of facts that I don't know about.
Okay, well, look, that didn't happen. I'm just saying. This guy popped up in an air pocket, all right? To me, number one, if I pop up in an air pocket, number one, I'm going to wait.
I agree with that.
Until I pass out and die. All right?
That's what we said. We agree.
That's number one.
We agree.
Number 2, if I'm about to pass out and die, I'm going to hold my breath and try to swim out until I drown trying to survive.
Agree again.
All right, number 2. Number 3, if it comes down to me, I'm going to kill myself before I drown because I'm weird like that, because that makes no sense to begin with. I'd rather drown than try to kill myself, right? I'm going to cut my wrist. I'm going to do something else than try to stab myself in the heart. You know what's hard? Stab yourself in the heart. You try it. Go ahead, try it. You want it? No, you don't want to try it because
Listen,
it's hard.
Here's what I think.
How do you deliver a one stab shot to the
Tell
heart?
me when I can.
Doug Ebersol, who's a world-class heart surgeon, cannot stab himself in the heart and die of one single stab.
Okay. All of that said, I don't know. What I know is I don't know. I did say earlier, why would he? Right away I stopped the video and said, why would he do that? Why would he give up?
Right.
That I agree with. I'm like, wait, we're trained as cave divers. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. It's in the cave manual.
Well, people are going to say he wasn't a cave diver. Just because you're trained as a cave diver doesn't mean this
Whatever.
guy was...
Most people would have an instinct not to give up. I agree with all that. But that's a massive jump to just conclude that somebody murdered him. I mean,
no,
why? Why? That's more hard to believe. Like, oh, I know. I have a perfect opportunity now that he's stuck in this spot. I'm going to go back down underwater. There's Gus. I see you. I see you, Gus, and you're here. And you're like, yay. Wait, let me finish. I did not interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you.
But that's not what I said.
Can you let me finish?
Okay, go ahead.
Gus is like, yes. His eyeballs are like, Woody's here. And I'm like, yeah, but
take that.
Admit it. Right now is your chance. Write it down. Octopus are aliens. No, I refuse. Fine.
Get some.
The guy's not going to show up as his rescuer and then stab him because he's in just...
But that's not what I
this
said.
is the opportunity. I finally got my opportunity. The guy, they said, the autopsy science said he didn't drown.
That's not what I said.
Well, I don't know what you said. You
What
said
I
you
said
said
was-
he got murdered by a knife.
No, that's not what I said. What I said was, I believe he got murdered before I believe he killed himself. That's what I said.
So you don't know. Just like what you're saying is, look, it's a very odd, weird situation. It's just as likely that he stabbed himself in his own heart, that he got murdered. I mean, they're both like, what? They're way out there. And I don't know why you were so definitive on, no, he got murdered.
It makes no sense. I wasn't
neither one
definitive.
makes
Why do you
sense.
keep saying that?
Neither makes sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense that his buddy that finally goes back and risks his own life, or whoever, the police diver, special diver goes down, finds him, and is like, oh, I didn't know it was you that I found.
Kill.
I don't want to rescue you. I don't want to save you, even though that's my job. I'm a special diver. I'm trained to rescue people. Not this time.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you. You know why? I'm mad. You're 164 feet down, and I don't like where you're at. And I don't want to look bad. Maybe I can't save you. I'm just going to kill you.
Yeah.
So I don't look bad. That is even more far-fetched.
I think
this is one of those times, Gus, where you're...
An alien octopus killed this guy before he killed himself.
Well,
with a knife.
Look, I would believe an alien octopus killed him just as much right now as you're so
more
definitive on it. He was murdered or whatever. I don't know.
I'm not saying he got murdered. I'm saying I believe that first before I believe this guy killed himself with an instant kill shot to the heart because he thought he's going to die in 3 minutes.
Do you believe a knife was in his heart? Don't go any further than that. Do you believe the documented information that when they found him, a knife was in his heart?
Allegedly.
I don't know where to go with this. I mean, it's either if you don't even believe the report, then there is nowhere to go with the story.
Well,
right, because at that point you could say, no, the report is bogus. He drowned. That's fine. That makes sense to me. That actually would be easier for me to digest right now.
Okay.
No, they decided it would make a better story to write down he stabbed himself in the heart. I don't know why that's a better story for these police special divers.
I mean, it's the tourism of the island. It's a cool story. I don't know.
I don't know where to go from here. Either you believe they found him with a knife in his heart, or you don't. That's it. I don't want you to go any further.
How is that better? I don't know. What?
Because it's if you don't believe that he stabbed himself at all, that they no. If you, no. If you don't believe that they found him with a knife in his heart,
okay,
that at least is, to me, a more reasonable possibility than automatically jumping to the conclusion that, yeah, I believe that he had a knife in his heart when they found him, but I believe that probably somebody murdered him and stuck it in his heart. I can't make those jumps. I'm like, I believe
so
right
let
now,
me ask you like this.
Based on the information we have, I can't second guess that they found him with a knife in his heart.
All right, so forget about that. Let me ask you like this. You think that this guy popped into an air pocket and said, you know what? I think I might drown in a few minutes. I'm going to stab myself in the heart.
No. I believe that he probably fought until the end and was so scared of the painful death of drowning, and I don't know how long. That I don't know. This is what I would think. I tried. I've struggled. I'm running out of air. I'm starting to drown. I don't want to die of drowning. I've given up all other efforts. I'm at my last. This air is hypoxic. I'm getting CO2 now. I'm out of air. I'm starting to fade.
But when you
I don't want
to sleep. He doesn't.
Well,
hurt.
maybe he just didn't know that. He's seriously confused. This guy's got CO2, man. He's like out of his mind. You're not thinking clearly at all. Okay, when you have a serious CO2 buildup, you are out of it. You are not doing anything logical. And maybe he just said, I can't take this, man. I don't want to die drowning. Bam. And that was it. I believe that more than anything else, unless somebody comes up with some other evidence. And if you ever do find me in that situation, I really don't want you to, and that's going to, if I find you in that situation, I'm not going to give you that final question and make you admit that octopus are aliens, which I think is a good way for us to end this video. For you all to know that I'm not going to force Gus into that. It's going to save you.
No one should believe this guy kill himself with a stab in the heart.
I think we've said all that we need to say here. We have nowhere to go.
Don't trust this story.
Nowhere else to go here.
I would trust a rattlesnake with a pet me sign on it.
We're going nowhere. We're not moving.
Before I trust this story first.
We're not going anywhere. Here we are.
Check out this video next. And we'll see you on the next one.
He was done.